Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm having a bit of a double celebration. So first off, we are celebrating the fact that my YouTube channel recently reached 1,500 subscribers. I think that's just amazing. It's so overwhelming to think that so many of you have chosen to subscribe to my channel or follow me on Instagram. And just generally want to see more of my layouts. It's just such a heartwarming feeling. I started this channel a little over a year ago now, and I really didn't think I'd get many subscribers. I thought I might get 50 if I was lucky. And each time I see I've got a new subscriber, like it's just such a lovely feeling. And the channel's now over 1,600, and it's just amazing. So thank you to each and every one of you who watch my videos and subscribe. It does mean the world to me. And so a group of us, loads of my scrappy friends and I are all getting together today to kind of celebrate that fact with a YouTube hop. And the second reason I'm celebrating is it's my birthday today. So happy birthday to me. Birthdays aren't a massive thing in our house, but I thought it would be a nice touch to have this hop on my birthday. So yeah, double celebration today. So thank you very much for joining me and hopefully hopping along with our YouTube hop. So on to today's layout. A lot of people in the hop today are scrap lifting one of my layouts, which I'm really excited about. Can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. But for this, I'm just designing a new layout from scratch. I'm not scrap lifting myself or anything. And I'm using Simple Stories Simple Vintage Country Harvest collection. I think I said that right. It's a bit of a mouthful. I absolutely love this collection. I think it's just gorgeous. I've bought most of it because I just love it. I also worked with it for, or I am working with it this month for Paper Maze as well, but I haven't got around to sharing those layouts yet. So this is, I think, the third or fourth layout I've created with it, but it's actually the first one that I've been able to share. And it's perfect for me because I've got loads of photos of us in pumpkin patches and pumpkin farms. It's one of my favourite things to do throughout October leading up to Halloween. So I've got loads of photos of my little boy with all the pumpkins, and the colours in this collection are just gorgeous. So I've decided to pull out several of the pattern papers and a couple of the basil cardstocks that match the collection. So Paper Maze sell, they call it a matchmaker pack. You get a pack of basil cardstock that match the collection. So I've used two of those as well. And I've turned them into little rosettes to sit on my background. I was in the mood for circles, so I've cut my photos in circles as well. I've got two different photos. I've cut one slightly larger than the other, or quite a bit larger actually than the other. And I've added some mixed media to my background. So I've used distress inks with a blending brush, and the orange is spiced marmalade, and that lovely kind of bluish turquoise colour is peacock feathers. And I find that these two colours work really well with this collection. They're kind of like, they've been my go-to colours for this collection. So I've just used the blending brush and kind of blended some of that ink onto my background in various areas. And then I'm going to sit all my rosettes on top of that. So if you've ever made rosettes for a layout before, you'll know they're a bit fiddly and time consuming, which is why I made most of them off camera before sitting down and hitting record for this layout. Otherwise this video would have been about an hour long. But I do need to make one more, so I'm going to do this one on camera. So I've cut a strip of patterned paper here. I think it was the full 12 inches in width, I can't remember now. And it's about 2.5 inches wide, and I'm scoring here on my trimmer every 1/4 of an inch. So I had it sort of pattern up, and I scored every 1/2 inch on one side. Then I've turned the paper over and I'm scoring every 1/2 inch again, but kind of in between, so alternate lines. It just makes it a bit easier to fold backwards and forward. And that's a trick I learnt from Vicky Parker watching one of her videos recently. I usually just score all on the same side. And I saw Vicky doing sort of alternate side scoring, and I can't believe I didn't think of it before. It's genius. So thank you, Vicky. I think she's joining in today with this hop as well, so that's exciting. Make sure you check her video out. But yeah, so that just made the paper folding so much easier and a little bit less fiddly for me. You can see it's still springing away in my hands occasionally, but this one came together quite quickly. Oh, that's right, yes. it wasn't quite long enough, so it was 12 inches, but I've had to add a little bit more just to make it the full circle. So I'm just doing the same thing here, scoring one side, and I'm going to turn it over and score in between on the other side. I'm going to get those bits stuck together to make one long strip, and then I'm going to punch some circles from the same pattern paper to sit front and back, just to finish them off nicely and to hold them together. And I'm using a glue gun for these rosettes. Quite a few of them I made quite tight. They really needed to be a bit longer, but I couldn't be bothered. So I have pulled them quite tight, and they kept pinging, so I've used my glue gun. I had to get it out for these ones, and that dries really quickly, and it's a really strong hold, so there's no way they're going to ping now. But you'll see in a minute. I just punch a couple of circles. I've done the strip, sort of stuck that together with red tape because that's quite strong as well. It's all about strong adhesives today. And then I'm going to punch some circles and stick one front and back with my hot glue gun. So whilst I'm faffing about with that, trying very hard not to burn my fingers, like I said at the beginning, this is a hop, so loads of my scrappy friends are taking part in my celebration today and helping me celebrate. In my description box below you will find the long list of all of their links to their channels or videos, to everybody who's taking part. So once you've finished watching my video, please do go down to my description box and you can work your way through the hop. And like I said, quite a few people will be scrap lifting one of my older layouts, so I'm really excited to see what they all come up with, but you'll find that link in the description box down below. So I've got that extra rosette in place over on the left now, just kind of helps balance the page out a bit. It's slightly off centre at the moment, which you'll see in a minute, it does really bug me. So I end up putting a frame on the page and trimming that white cardstock more on the right, or I think entirely on the right, just to help centre the design up a bit. And I've stuck some white cardstock behind my photos there. I'm not adding a border or anything, but I just wanted them to be a bit sort of sturdier, a bit more rigid. Photo paper is quite thin and I didn't want it kind of sinking in between those rosettes. So I've stuck that to some white cardstock just to make them a bit stronger, and then I've got those stuck in place in the centre there. My title, Autumn is in the Air, that's one of the stickers from the collection. Again, I've stuck that onto white cardstock just to make it a bit stronger, and I've added a bit of foam behind half of it just so that it sat level on the page, because some of it was raised up with my photo and on sort of two rosettes, and the left there was only on the one rosette, so that foam's just helped to level that out. I've also added a couple of bits of ephemera from the pack. I've got that blue truck with some pumpkins in the back. I've got a crate with a couple of pumpkins, and then I've got that lovely little kind of canvas or Hessian heart down the bottom that says Harvest the Good, and I love that, I thought that was really pretty. So I've added those on. Again, I'm using my glue gun to stick most of the things down on this page, just because the rosettes kind of have peaks, so there's not a lot of surface area for things to grasp on and stick to, so the glue gun is helping with that. I've also got the foam stickers for this collection, which I absolutely adore. I think they're gorgeous. I've used some of the pumpkins for the centres of my rosettes, and I've also added a couple of the hearts. I've done 3 I think in total, just scattered around the edge there. I've added in a little banner at the top that says Happy Harvest Time. I'm popping another pumpkin down over on the right there. That's from one of the ephemera packs or die cut packs as well. And this is where I decided that the off-central design was really bugging me. I have real bad OCD with things like symmetry and patterns, and just generally things need to be centered really. I do sometimes make layouts where things are like offset to one side, and it all depends on the design really. If I've intentionally done that, it's not so much of a problem, but the being sort of off-centered was not intentional at all, and it was really bugging me. So I've trimmed 1/2 inch off of the right of the page and 1/2 inch off the bottom of the page. And now I'm going to add some stamping and a little bit more colour to that outside edge. I've selected a pattern paper from the collection that's kind of a charcoal, it's not quite black, it's like charcoaly black almost, white polka dots, and I just felt I needed something between that and the white cardstock. It was a bit, that white was just looking too crisp and white, if you know what I mean. So I'm distressing the edge of the whole layout with 2 different stamps by Craft. One is like a grid crosshatch design, and the other one is really hard to describe. Just some really weird distressed pattern that I love them both. They are like my go-to stamps to add a bit of texture. So I've done those around the outside, focusing more on the corners, and then I'm coming back in with the 2 distress inks that I used earlier, and just adding a bit of colour around the outside edge, again with those blending brushes. And once I'm happy that I've added enough detail to that outside edge, I'm now just running my edge distresser around the edges, just to distress them a bit further. I love doing this, it adds great texture to my layouts, and I'm all about kind of dimension and texture and layering things up. I don't think I ever make a flat layout. They've always got layers and dimension to them, and this one certainly has with all those rosettes. But yeah, distressing is one of my favourite things to do. So I've applied some double-sided tape around the edge of my layout now, and I'm going to get it stuck down to that border. And what I also do off camera, you can't really see it too much in the close-ups, I just run it through my sewing machine and add a white running stitch all the way around the edge. I should have done black really, but I had white thread in my machine at the time and thought that would do, so I've used the white thread, but you can't really see it, so I probably do need to go over that with black thread at some point. But I'm just finishing off now with some white splatters. I'm using white gesso, which I've watered down. I just find it is more of a bright white colour than my white acrylic paint. I find the acrylic paint kind of soaks into pattern papers and cardstocks and then isn't quite so white. So I always go for gesso, and that is my layout finished today. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this layout. Thank you very much to everybody who subscribes to my channel, whether you subscribed from the beginning or you're a new subscriber or you're new to my channel today. Thank you very, very much. It really is lovely to have you all watching my videos, and your comments always make me smile. I always try and reply to them all. Sometimes it might take me a week or so, but I do try and reply to you all. Thank you again so much to everybody for subscribing, and thank you to all of you who are taking part in my hop today. I love you all loads. I just love the Scrappy community. You're just a fantastic bunch, and you really do keep me going. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart.